eagle gets his wings.
Welcome to a very special episode, a holiday episode of On the Nerdy Side with Honey and Spanky.
Hi. So this is going to be the last episode of the year, and it's the special holiday episode. Yay! And today we are going to talk about our top 5 Christmas movies. Now, spoiler alert, our number one Christmas movie that we love, number one of all time, what is it, honey?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Right, the classic by Frank Capra with good old Jimmy Stewart.
I love Jimmy Stewart.
Yes, and Donna Reed in the only movie I remember her in.
She was big. She was fabulous, but they did try to blame her for its commercial lack of success.
Oh, whatever.
I know.
Yeah, so that's...
She's amazing.
She's great. She was the beautiful actress. So, let's get right on rolling with it. So we're going to go in descending order. So we're going to start with number 5, which is the classic action Christmas movie of the 80s, Die Hard, starring the great Bruce Willis. And the dad from Family Matters, he was also excellent. And I always forget his name, even though, I love him. Let's go bring it up, Mr. IMDb.
Reginald
VelJohnson. Right. So, yes. And now, I just showed Honey the Christmas movie, which you've seen Die Hard before I showed you. Right.
The movie theater.
Okay. I couldn't even say that. But it's been one of my favorite movies anyway since I was a kid. And much debate has been made about whether or not it is a Christmas movie. The Brits at The Guardian say no, and I say shut the fuck up because you're not American. You don't fucking understand. But anyway, and the Europeans are bad guys in it. That might have something to do with it. But what did you think of Die Hard, watching it recently?
It really reminds me of a time and place in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It also, I gotta say, I do love Bruce Willis. He is actually a fantastic example. Hey, all you men out there who are like, I'm not good looking enough.
Yeah.
I'm not built enough. I'm not whatever enough. You're wrong. Because it's more about charisma.
Right.
Bruce Willis is not an attractive man. If we just look at pictures of him or we just freeze it and stare,
Right.
There's nothing exciting going on there.
Right.
But he is very charismatic and he is an exceptionally powerful man.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'm interested in your perspective.
With what?
How he presents himself.
Right.
He walks in the room and he takes over.
Right. And what's interesting too is he was against type at the time because it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone were both the biggest action movie actors, and they were both huge rip guys.
Yeah.
And so here comes Bruce Willis as an everyman, and it works because people instantly relate to it. And the reason why I think it's a Christmas movie, because the whole movie is basically about him trying to reunite with his family for Christmas. It just happens to be his wife is a CEO for a big Japanese conglomerate that's
executive. She's not the CEO.
Excuse me, executive for and at the time, people thought the Japanese were taking over America.
The World Economic Order in the late 80s all the way up through the early 90s was Japan was the next ascendant economic country that was going to become the most powerful economic leader in the world. And then they suffered an economic setback and also a demographic cultural shift in their country that changed that trajectory.
Yes.
But the Die Hard movie very much leans into the Japanese are going to be at the top of the world order.
And it sort of plays on both it's sort of a throwback movie because there's a lot of kind of little what would you say? Things that the Greatest Generation would relate to in the movie because Bruce Willis is very much kind of a man at a time character, he makes a lot of references to California, the New Yorker in LA. And
It takes place in Los Angeles on the west side of LA.
right. And the bad guys, initially you think they're terrorists, but they're just good old-fashioned bank robbers, essentially. And they're all like German, which of course, all the Greatest Generation, they were fighting the Nazis, and they're like, oh, well, we can relate to a German bad guy, even though it's an English actor, like basically played amazingly by Alan Rickman, right? Who's great. He's a classic, actor. God rest his soul.
I think it's also kind of interesting. Part of the time and place that I reference is how it very much has that New York versus
Right?
Los
Yeah.
Angeles, almost like a, I don't know, athletic team fight kind of perspective that he
Yeah.
has. And I love how it's one
One
NYPD cop,
New York
Bruce
cop.
Willis's character, John McClane, one NYPD cop versus, I don't know, half the LAPD squad that existed at the time, including SWAT and FBI
Right.
resources, get tagged for, the culmination fight event. And really, it's the one NYPD cop who
Right.
kind of saves all.
Yeah, because it's interesting. They make the LAPD seem a little incompetent. And then there's only one cop who's sort of the disgrace cop, which is Al, um, with the Del Johnson character. And like he's great, and they have instant they're not even on the screen together, and they have chemistry. It's really interesting.
It's beautiful.
And it's really cool seeing like those two guys kind of save LA from the evil European gangsters essentially. And like it's so many explosions. It's so ridiculous. I remember you were like, why are they bringing all these resources? And it's like, so they can make things explode.
Yeah, it's very much a, theatrical display of law enforcement.
Right. Moving on, let's go to number 4. Gremlins. Oh my God, Gremlins. Yeah, Gremlins is an amazing movie. And it's great because it's a horror. Like early 80s horror Christmas movie. That is very much a horror. It's super violent. It's super gory.
Sure.
The goddamn things destroy the whole town, this little small town during Christmas. But like, it is similar to It's a Wonderful Life, where one of the main bad guys is the evil old lady, evil rich old
yes.
lady. Though she does get her comeuppance, that tortures the young people.
I love Gremlins is very much a cautionary tale of
Yes.
globalization as well,
Oh.
and not understanding different cultural nuance, right?
Right. Yes.
Because we have the father figure who goes and buys the Mogwai, the little gremlin character.
Yes.
Gizmo. Oh my God.
So adorable.
I had a little Gizmo toy when I was little and I loved it. I kept it forever. I don't know what happened though.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, Gizmo's adorable. And the father is like a failed inventor. He's flailing around trying to go to like inventor conferences to sell one of his jackpot not jackpot pot ideas. He's trying. He's not achieving
He's
anything.
got
and
that
when
American salesman charm to him,
Yes. But so he goes to an Asian-owned shop and he hears the singing of the Mogwai.
Right.
And he's like, oh my God, I have to have this for my son, who quite frankly is probably a little old to be given.
It is a little weird. Like they're
strange because his son is like working at a bank instead of going to college.
he looks he's at least like 18 or 19.
He's probably 18
and,
or
like,
19.
Phoebe Cates is like supposed to be like 18 or 19 too, but she's working in her family bar, which is interesting. Her
at the bank. She has multiple
jobs, and it kind of shows like it's different because in the early 80s it shows kind of like the rough economic times of the early Reagan administration.
Well, I mean where I grew up in Los Angeles, we felt it the whole time. What I love about Gremlins, I've referenced how I'm an orphan. Phoebe Cates' character is an orphan. It's fascinating because she hates Christmas. She's like bah humbug.
Mm-hmm.
And the boy character is like trying so hard to, connect with her.
Yeah.
And she's really leaning into the despair of the bar set. And even like, goes and is taking care of like the crazy monsters when they show up at the bar and take it over, which was a really fun looking scene.
It's a crazy
It's
scene. They're all like getting
insane.
hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, Ray, they're like that insane raccoon that broke into the liquor
Oh
store.
yeah.
There was a recent article with a raccoon that broke into a liquor store, crashed through the ceiling tiles, got drunk, like broke a bunch of liquor bottles, got drunk, and then literally passed out
Yeah.
on the floor
On the
of the
ground,
bathroom.
face first in the bathroom.
It's
I'll-
hilarious.
I'll-
We will put a picture.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put the link in the description of the article. If you haven't seen it already, it's hilarious. But like Gremlins is like a great Christmas movie. Like it does. Like Die Hard, you're reminded that it's Christmas, even though it's very much a genre movie. Let's move on
We have to move on.
number 3, because we want to get to It's a Wonderful Life because that's where we're going to spend the most time. But number 3 is the classic, one of the best movies I think Christmas movies made in the aughts and of the modern movies is Elf, with the great
Zoe Deschanel
Zooey Deschanel.
playing the main female character,
Right.
and she sings.
hmm
And oh my gosh,
James Caan's in it. Will Ferrell, of course, is in the starring war, like as a big, like grown-up, overgrown elf. It's like I loved him in that movie. It's amazing, and it's one of the early. It was made in 2003, so this was one of the movies that really put Will. Like everybody knew. I was already familiar with him from Saturday Night Live and loved him, but this is one of the movies, like old school, that really made Will Ferrell a star. And it's got great old actors: Ed Asner, fucking Bob Newhart. How do you not love Bob Newhart?
I totally love Bob
Right?
Newhart. He was my dad's favorite like comedian, other than Danny DeVito. I mean,
Right.
he really and John Good, Candy. John
Yes,
Candy was
and
another.
the great
But
John Candy.
no, he loved all of that, and so we would watch the Bob Newhart show and everything. But Elf, oh my God, it is a fabulous story. It's so heartwarming.
Yes,
And it really like it does make the Christmas magic come alive. And Mary Steenburgen,
she's great.
she's amazing.
Yeah, her and James. She's a perfect
She's
foil to
such a
James Caan.
good stepmom
Yeah.
too. She's
Mhm.
literally like the best stepmom you could ever imagine. Who's like, wait, you have a secret child
Yeah,
from another relationship? But when she finds out like the woman has gone, she's like, oh my God, well, this is your son. This
Right.
is my son. And they have a kid.
and just in case you don't know the premise of the movie, I'm assuming most of us do. But basically, Will Ferrell as a baby, he's in an orphanage because his mom gave him up. James Caan and his first girlfriend in college give the baby up, and Will Ferrell's character ends up just crawling into Santa's sack. And then, of course, Santa gets to the North Pole, discovers the baby, and Bob Newhart's character volunteers to go, well, we don't know who the baby. Santa's not even sure where it came from, so they're like, we'll raise the baby. And of course, they raise the baby as an elf. And of course, it's Will Ferrell's a giant anyway, so you can imagine how big he
He's
is
a
as an
tall
elf.
man.
And it's so adorable seeing him like lying on, wanting to sit on his dad's lap as an adult. And of course, he's not a very good elf, and so he goes to New York to find his dad, James Caan, and that's how the movie kind of goes.
He gets a job
Right.
working in the Santa setup at a mall.
Yes, like a Macy's type of store.
Back when the flagship stores used to really try to like roll that out and make it a magical experience to photograph for your children, because that is becoming less of a thing. I mean, you can
Right.
still find it here and there, but you got to like go looking. Whereas before, you just like go outside and it'd be all over the place when we were little.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's a very much a transitional movie, like in a way, because it's sort of another thing. It's like it's old Hollywood meets new Hollywood, and we're also seeing like the kind of the demise of the department store. The early aughts was a different world. I mean, shit, that's 22 years ago now.
Totally
Right?
different. Everything is different.
And this Elf really aged well, and it does. It's one of the best like Christmas feeling-y movies. The
Yes.
soundtrack, how everybody sings at the end of the movie.
The caroling is wonderful because like the Zoe Deschanel character, she has a beautiful singing voice.
Yeah.
And he hears her because she's like poor and taking a shower at the department store.
Right.
But she doesn't have the self-confidence to sing in front of others.
Right.
And only like towards the end when she's trying to kind of like bring everyone together to help him.
And help Well, to help
and
Santa
uh,
bring the Christmas
to
spirit.
to help raise the
Yeah,
Christmas spirit. And of course, what can raise the Christmas spirit more than singing Christmas
yeah,
carols en masse? There is magic in that.
right.
And so then she leads the charge to do the caroling, and it helps everyone have Christmas.
Yes, like and makes it really like Zoe Deschanel really makes the movie. And it's interesting because she's a blonde in it, and she's usually known as a brunette, and she looks a lot more regular as like
I
a
agree.
blonde. Because let's face it, you wouldn't believe Will Ferrell would bag Zoe Deschanel regularly, right?
I'm
But
still not believing it
it's sort of the one,
anyways.
yeah,
I mean,
right.
I
It's the
have to
one
really
thing
like
in the
lean
movie, like
into
yeah.
the temporary disbelief.
But Will Ferrell is like amazing in the movie. The whole cast is great. I mean, really, if you haven't seen Elf, please go and see it. It is you're gonna love it. It is really
Fun.
one of the
It's
best Christmas movies.
enjoyable.
So we're moving on to the next one. So this is probably one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, and it's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, the Chevy Chase classic. And one of the things I love about the movie is it's a lot. It hits different as an adult, especially as an dad,
Mhm.
because I I'm like Clark Griswold. I decorate the whole outside of the house. I have a bunch of lights I've acquired over the last like you know 8, 9, 10 years, and it is about like kind of trying to give your family the best Christmas they can in the modern world. It's making everything harder, and then you dealing with family, and dealing with your job and dealing with the kids and everything. And dealing with your asshole boss. Played really well by Brian Doyle Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother, is in the movie. He is like a great villain.
It's also fun because it's kind of about making choices, because he winds up having like some of his wildest dreams offered
Yeah,
up as a possibility
right.
with Christy Brinkley,
No,
right?
that's in the first. Isn't that Christy Brinkley's in the first
Oh,
Vacation?
okay,
So
wrong
I don't know
person.
the name of the actress that he's hitting on. And, like it's funny because so early
A
in the movie
beautiful lady.
he's hitting on this one girl really hard at the department store and is trying to say his wife's dead, blah 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 blah, and then or divorced, and then his dad catches. I mean, his son catches him hitting on, it, and it's like. And he's like, the girl's pulling up her skirt to show the panty line, and he's like, you can't see the panty line, and he's like, oh, you can't see the panty line, can you, Russ? I'm like, you sure can't, Dad, and he's like, because he got caught as a sleazebag, and that shows up again as he's fantasizing. It's one of the most inappropriate scenes in the movie, which is like a throwback to Phoebe Cates in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the infamous she gets out of the pool scene, right?
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
isn't
Yeah,
there
to
a lot of
connect.
80s crossover in the 80s movies?
Well, the 80s had a lot of licentiousness
Right.
going on.
Yeah. So anyway, like, and in case you haven't seen it, the story is um Chevy Chase is trying to give his family like a classic family Christmas, and he invites his in-laws over who he doesn't like, and they don't get along, and then he basically once like the reality of his family all being in the same house at once hits him and his kids to the point where his kids can't even sleep in their rooms. He goes and hides and tries to decorate the whole house and set the record, and it crashes the goddamn like when he turns it on finally, and that's a whole gag. But like yeah, so basically mayhem ensues in this movie. Like not a lot of Christmas movies, right?
That's true,
Yeah,
for sure. I think it's kind of interesting, I hadn't really like paid attention to this part earlier, but I see it now at this stage of my life, how part of how he's trying to cope with the stress of all of the family and holiday and everything uh, dynamic is to pour himself into art,
right.
a form of artistic expression, which is decorating.
It is, right. I definitely think so now that I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can help you like have a positive way to channel some of that energy while also trying to kind of like bring up the mood for others.
Right. Essentially, as it goes, crazy things happen. Like, not to ruin too much, but basically, his cousin shows up that he doesn't like.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like
Whole family.
with the whole family, and they don't they showed up because they can't afford to get their kids Christmas presents, so they're of course relying on good old Clark Griswold, who is also a throwback, I think, to Jimmy Stewart a little bit in the movie. They
Mhm.
even show It's a Wonderful Life in the movie, and so he tries to like do that. He barely has money, and then the kicker is he doesn't get his Christmas bonus,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's when his cousin decides to kidnap Brian Doyle Murray, and the SWAT team shows up, and it's a whole thing. But of course, everything works out in the end, because it's a Christmas movie,
Christmas
right?
movie.
And yeah, so like if anybody out there is a parent trying to give their kids a nice Christmas, do yourself a favor and watch the movie. It is almost like a cathartic experience, I say.
Maybe not with the kids, depending
There's
on what
definitely
age
some
they
right.
are. So
Like
just
like Die Hard, which is rated R. This is 80s PG-13, so there's like nudity in it and like a lot of cursing. Of course, he has an infamous meltdown, one of the best meltdowns actually. And where he flips out after he finds out he doesn't get his bonus, and of course, remember like his one old uncle, burns the tree down and sets the house on fire. He destroys his yuppie neighbor's house, which is also funny. But yeah, it's a great movie. And like again, one of my favorites of all time. From both of us, Honey and Spanky. We wish you a happy holiday,
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and happy everything else. Happy New Year. And
Diwali.
yes,
Yes.
and if you like our show, if you've been listening to us on our Buy Me a Coffee, if you've been watching our clips on YouTube, thank you. Thank you for those of you who've already supported us. Please, we'd like to keep doing the show. We need to keep the lights on. We'd like to do more episodes, obviously, but like we have regular lives and regular jobs, and we have children. So please consider buying us coffee. We are getting a Patreon ready. It's coming up soon. We have special things ready for that. So we'll of course announce that in due time. But thank you again for watching us.
Thanks so much for coming to hang out with On the Nerdy Side with Honey and Spanky. We'll see you again soon, I hope.